So welcome back to the channel. Today I am back in downtown Sonoy, Georgia. I was here yesterday filming some Walking Dead locations, and today doing the same, but I am doing a horror movie location day today. And it's one of my all-time favorite horror movies growing up as a kid, the sequel to the 1989 Pet Sematary, the 1992 Pet Sematary 2, which was mostly filmed, a lot of the shots were filmed here in downtown Sonoy. And one of those major locations is right over here to my left. Check it out. So this was the Matthew house in Pet Sematary 2. How freaking cool is that? Can still make it out because of those three triangular shapes up top. Definitely kind of went under restoration over the years, I'm sure. Probably some add-ons. But for the most part, still looks pretty dang identical. That is freaking cool. So the moving truck would have been right over here. And that's when they were moving the boxes in. And that's where Jeff and his dad and the housemaid, I guess you would call her, they were right there in the doorway. And that's when the box tipped over and Jeff's mom, Renee, her dress falls out, and the housemaid picks it up and says, "Oh, it's beautiful." And Jeff didn't like that. Jeff did not want another woman touching his mother's clothes. And that all happened right in there, in that house. Now, I don't know if the interior shots were filmed in there. I would be very confident to say that the interior right there in the doorway, when all three of them are in there talking, I'm sure that was filmed in there. But the rest of the interior shots probably were filmed on a soundstage, I'm sure. But I want to try to get the angle of where the moving truck would have been right over here, and you would see the housemaid kind of walk in this direction. But it's pretty much about like at this angle right here. That is freaking amazing. Right here in downtown Sonoy. And what's even crazier is that Chase's veterinary hospital and Guss's police station are literally right up the road. Not even 150 yards up the road. Again, all that filmed right here in downtown Sonoy. Later in the movie, we can see Jeff and Drew ride their bicycles right through here. And also, when Jeff and his dad go to the veterinary clinic for the first time, you can see the van come up this way, and it would have went right up here. And you can see that water tower in the distance, which is the Sonoy water tower. But in the film, it was called Lello water tower. And that was filmed right here, again, downtown Sonoy. Guss's police station up here, veterinary hospital up here. Pretty much a close match in the film. So later on in the movie, we see Clancy Brown standing right here in front of this door. This would have been the Lello police station. And how I know that is there's a circular structure right up here. You can see this clear as day in the movie. And then right over here, you can see the top part of these two windows here. Now it's kind of undergone some restoration over the years, but for the most part, you can still pretty much make it out. How cool is that? Clancy Brown standing right there. The trick-or-treaters would have walked right by. All right here. And then right up here, you have what was the Lello Veterinary Hospital. And this is now a Sonoy bicycle shop. So Jeff and his dad would have walked up here, would have went inside, I doubt any of the interiors were filmed in here. Probably on a soundstage, more than likely. I would love to get in there and check though, but they are closed. Sunday and Monday closed. Dang. So all right here on this little street, well, little walkway, right down here, Guss's police station, and right here, the veterinary hospital. And then over here, you could actually see, I'm gonna try to cross the street here. So right over here, you can actually see this shot here in the movie. You can see this water tower off in the distance again. This would have been the Lello water tower. But it would have been pretty much at this angle right about here. But these two buildings here were not here during the filming. So again, a lot has changed, but not a lot has changed. 33, 34 years ago, downtown Sonoy. I bet back then, this area was not as bustling as it is now. Thanks to The Walking Dead, this place sees hundreds, if not millions, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people every year because of The Walking Dead. Freaking cool, downtown Sonoy. So I'm at the next location, not too far from downtown Sonoy. And this is where Drew is very distraught about Guss killing his dog. He's covered in blood. And Jeff rides his bicycle right up this road here and meets Drew at what once was an old church and is now someone's residence. But the angle would have been something about like this, looking up at the church. And Drew's head would have been kind of right near that little curvature piece up there. Still looks kind of rustic. I like it. But in the movie, this church was very run down, dilapidated. They kind of spruced it up a little bit over the years. Looks really awesome. But right over there, that is where Drew asked Jeff for help burying Zowie. And Jeff says, yeah, I'll go get a shovel. All happened right here. Man, so dang cool. What kind of adds to the ambiance is they actually have a memorial, little grave over here. I'm not sure if it's a pet or a person. I doubt it's a person, probably a pet. But they have a little grave right over here. That is a really cool structure. Whoever lives there, that is a really awesome house. Really awesome house. So my next location is the Gilbert House. And this is where Drew, Guss, and his mom lived. Guss was trying to kill Drew after Zowie killed him. Drew buried him at the Micmac burial ground. Guss was trying to kill him. Drew would have busted out this window up here. There used to be a little overhang right there, but now it's a full-blown roof. He would have jumped down, and his mom would have been waiting in the driveway, and they would have driven off in that direction. But this is the Gilbert House. Again, not too far from downtown Sonoy, about a quarter mile in that direction. Like I said, everything is pretty much filmed in a little radius around Sonoy. Pretty freaking cool, the Gilbert House. So I have made it to my next location. I've come to a town called Alvinton. And right over here is the former Ludlow Junior High School. It is now called the Banquet Hall of Alvinton. But this is where we see Jeff, Drew, Clyde's school right here. How freaking cool is this? It pretty much looks the same in a way. Now I think they have built in this long porch up front. The front looks a little bit different. These stairs were not there in the movie. Actually, the stairs in the movie are underneath those stairs. So the stairs to the school are underneath those stairs. I wish that I could get on property and see that, but unfortunately there is a gate. It is locked and it goes all the way around the property. So we'll not be able to get on property and get up close to the former Lello Junior High School. Dang, that sucks. But right over here, we first see Jeff and his dad come up through here, and he would let Jeff off right about in here. Jeff would have got his bicycle, taken it off, and put it over here on the bike rack, and then he would have walked in school. But Clyde, his bully, would have been there kind of watching him as he went into school. Clyde knew who Jeff was, didn't like him. His mom was an actress, came from wealth, and he did not like Jeff one bit. Later on in the movie though, we see Jeff and Drew and Clyde and all of his buddies come out. Clyde takes Jeff's cat. They all come out here to the bike rack again, get their bikes, and they take off and they ride their bikes right down through here. You can see that in the movie. And also, after that later on, Jeff and Drew come out of the school again. Clyde is sitting there waiting for him. Clyde has to talk crap to Jeff, and Jeff's dad would have been right over here, parked right over here, and would have called out to Jeff. So Jeff and Drew would have got on their bicycles. Very loud bike. They would have got on their bicycles and they would have pedaled right over to here where Jeff's dad was sitting in his van. That's when he told Jeff and Drew about Zowie not doing too well. That's when they asked if they can have a sleepover. Jeff's dad says, that's fine. All of that right here at the banquet hall of Alvinton. Like I said, pretty much identical in a way to what it was like in the movie. Really, really cool. But I want to walk across the street and show you a really cool movie prop, I guess you would say, from Pet Sematary 2. And I'm waiting for the traffic to kind of die down for a second so I can get across. Okay. Again, this is a very, very busy road. But right over here, this is where that gas station sign would have been. And you can actually see this old school telephone booth in the shot. Look at this relic. They don't have these anymore in operation. This thing has probably been disconnected for at least 15, 20 years maybe. You can definitely see that old school telephone booth in the shot. Right across the street from the former Lello Junior High School. So I have made it not too far from where Guss's police station and Chase's veterinary hospital is. Right over to where I was yesterday, and I mentioned in the video yesterday that I would be back over here. And I'm back over at the bridge where Tara and Glenn enter that tunnel right through in here. This is also the fried green tomatoes bridge, like I mentioned in the video yesterday as well. And I looked it up last night. I watched a clip of the death scene here, and the lady and the little girl were up here, and the guy Buddy, he was down here somewhere in this area, and he would have got his foot stuck right over here. The train would have been coming in that direction and basically plowed through Buddy because he could not get his foot unstuck. But right up there on top of that bridge, right over in this area, is my next location for Pet Sematary 2. And actually, another fun fact, little fun tidbit, right over here, this house is the fried green tomato house. Pretty dang cool. But over here is the top portion of the bridge. Unfortunately, they have it chained off, so we cannot get access to it. It's probably not very stable. Boards may be rotted. Not quite sure why they have it chained off. But right up here is where Drew would have been sitting on his bicycle waiting for Jeff. Jeff would have came from this direction here, met up with Drew, and they would have taken off right in this direction over here. But still pretty dang awesome. Couple of filming locations right here. The Walking Dead, Pet Sematary 2, and fried green tomatoes right here at this bridge. I mean, who would have thought? All of these locations just right here in downtown Sonoy. Again, so many movies, TV shows that were filmed here. A lot more than I mentioned today. Cannot name all of them, but I know like Spider-Man was also filmed in this area. Some of the Marvel movies. And I think it's because it's much cheaper to film here in the Sonoy area, Georgia, versus like Hollywood and stuff like that. You can get more with a lower budget. At least that's my 2 cents, I think. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video for today. I wanted to go to the Micmac Burial Ground, which is a little bit north of here, a little bit east of Atlanta, but the drive there is about an hour, and it's also a 2-mile hike there and 2 miles back. I would not have enough time to do all that today. Kind of on a time crunch, got to get back home, long drive back home. I also went by the Creed house in Pet Sematary 2. Very brief scene. The boys ride their bicycles in the front yard past the mailbox, and it had the Creed letters on there. I wanted to get that on film, a quick shot, but I went over there and there were people and kids, well, adults and kids in the front yard, and I'm not going to film people on their private residence. So kind of a bummer. I did want to get that house and that front yard on a film, but just couldn't make it happen. But I did cover a lot of ground this weekend. Walking Dead locations, Pet Sematary 2 locations, a lot of driving, lot of walking, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. We'll definitely do this again. Try to find some other filming locations, maybe in different states, and do that. But I want to thank you all for watching. If you have watched both videos, I want to thank you hugely. It means a lot to me. I do put in a lot of time, research into doing this. So it does mean a lot to me if you watch, like, comment, and also subscribe to me, Josh on Location. If you love filming locations, I will be doing more of these in the future. So you will definitely want to stick around, stay tuned. More to come, much more to come. So go ahead and head out of here. Again, long drive back home. Thank you all for watching. I'm gonna get the bridge and my outro. Thank you all for watching. Until I see you the next one, take care of yourselves. And I'll see you then.